We're going over to Dawn now. Hopefully she can hear us.
I can hear you nice and clear, thank you.
All right, I'll just turn you up a fraction here. And we're going to start, well, it's episode 27, Sunday, the 19th of April. And we're going to start with some introductory music. So listen carefully. You might have a chance at guessing this. If you know, just give us an indication, but don't reveal all because we want the viewers to have a stab at it. So can you hear this? Okay, coming up. That'll do.
Okay.
Oh, more clues are right. I reckon that will test a few people out. I just will say it was inspired by Hubert from Canada. That's all I will say. And another section, Dawn, I thought I've discovered a little bit of an additional not technology, but something you can do with Zoom, which I quite liked yesterday, which is the share screen aspect, which I showed you yesterday.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And I thought I would introduce our viewers to some of our biggest fans. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Good idea.
Just so you can see what they look like. And so the first one I'm going to go with, Dave and Pat Atkin. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. Where are we? Hold on, bit of a technology problem. Oh, here you go, I've got it. Can you see them?
Yes, I can see them.
They look good there, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat sitting down and Dave there with his bling on. There he is. And that was at the Westminster Road Mile.
Right.
Years ago. So they're at the end of the mile there. So great supporters. So thanks for all their feedback. Stop the share and we're back. We're back in action with you and me.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good, isn't it? I quite like that.
Good.
So bit late this morning, bit later, like 8:45. I slept like a log.
So that exercise.
I know, almost 2-hour walk yesterday, taking me out to an area which I haven't been for years because I've not been able to run for 15 years, and that was really nice. We did the Bluebells walk.
15 years? Oh my God.
I think I stopped. Maybe I was 44 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
Last competition was when I was 43. So I went out there and then I had a 2-hour discussion, which I filmed on Zoom, which was really interesting with Julie Googe, Lucy Reed and Nicole Taylor about female athletes and how they transfer through the age groups successfully or not successfully and the difficulties they come across. So I found that really interesting. Been wanting to do it for a while, and I know 200 odd people have seen it so far, including Joe Brickell, who messaged this morning very kindly and said we're her, I don't know if she said guilty pleasure, but she watches us over her breakfast. So I've apologised this morning because it might be over her coffee. But she also woke up in the middle of the night because, like a lot of people, she's not sleeping great, and she watched the whole 80 minutes of the discussion with the girls, which I thought was good, and she gave me some feedback on that. So I hope you catch up with your sleep, Joe, and thanks for the feedback. Right, more feedback. This was an interesting one from Scott Shermer, who remembered he stopped on a run to look over the bridge on the end at the M20 one day, and a lady stopped her car to check he was okay.
That was lovely, isn't it? I did that. A gentleman had sat on the wall by the garage, and I was walking Oscar a few years back, and I said to him, "Oh, are you all right?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just having a little rest."
He could have said, "Bugger off, leave me alone," couldn't he? I suppose.
What? Yeah, what the hell do you think you're doing?
But it made me think that, yeah, I think quite a lot of people might have stopped to check if somebody's looking over a bridge on the M20 or something like that. But it made me think whether flipping it around, anything that happened in her life to make her want to do that, have the desire to do that. You never know, do you? So you could
Absolutely.
actually turn it around. You just don't know
Or,
people's circumstances.
or it could just be an act of kindness. Someone thinking, "Oh, perhaps that person is in stress. He's obviously, it looks as if he's running." That they might think, "Oh gosh, you know, is he all right?" And it's best to ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than sort of like driving off and then the person collapse, is there? Really? No, I mean, you did nothing for them. So it's a really difficult fine line. But I think if you ask, at least you feel better that you've asked, even if they tell you to bugger off. It's okay with me, because I feel as if I've, if you like, done my duty by asking in the first place.
I can remember I must have been about 5 or 6. We were walking back from school with parents, and I found a lady's purse, and inside it was a significant amount of money, and we were going to take it to the police station, and she happened to come running round the corner looking for her purse. So we handed it over to her, and she gave me a little reward for finding it. All I can think is that all you're giving me, the amount you got in your purse?
Oh, you had a very nice time. You're thinking about all those running shoes you need to buy in the future, weren't you?
Oh, I was 5 or 6. I'd like to think I'd have a different reaction these days, but there you go.
You probably would, yeah.
Steve Fury sent through photographs of him and his daughter. Oh, I should have brought that up. I'll bring a picture of Steve up another day because he gives us loads of feedback. But Steve had his head shaved, inspired by the Canadians, and his daughter went along with it as well. Although she didn't have it completely bald, there was a very close crop, but it suited them, I thought. So they're dealing with their haircut issue by just taking the lot off. There you go.
I know. I'm supposed to have a haircut next week, so but I'll just tie it up. It's fine. It's not a major deal.
Well, that'll be it. We not being able to go, the salon will have a cash flow issue straight away. One appointment with you, won't they?
Oh dear. Trust you to remember that.
Angie Crush, she's been teaching her 2 children, Huxley and Amber, how to cook. They're having a cooking session every day and doing a different recipe, and that's going really well. Something she says she would never have had time to do in her busy life. So I thought that was nice. She's going through quite a few recipes, and she reeled them off. If anyone wants to see them on the feedback from yesterday in the comments, that was nice. And she also talked about something that happened to her 20 years ago. She's in the legal business, and as a lawyer, she helped somebody who was having a really bad time, and this person didn't have any money, but 6 months later came back with a little card and a potted plant to thank her so much for all her help. And that's resonated with her, the fact that somebody, waited 6 months and was still grateful. So that was nice. Hubert from Canada came back with some ideas on the introductory music, but I won't say any more on that. Except we didn't choose the song, the music he suggested, but there is an association. I'll give you that clue.
Are you probably upsetting now?
No.
Tell him about the gentleman that you told me about yesterday.
The gentleman?
Yesterday, you had some feedback and somebody suggested something. It's not on this loop. Come on, tell other people that you got to be broad-minded. That sometimes people don't take suggestions that you put forward, and it is about personal preference, isn't it?
The bit of feedback was on a YouTube comment, and I do know the guy from years gone by. Vaguely used to run against him, but he got a little upset I didn't use his feedback. But to be honest, he's not actually. It wasn't anything more than the fact that he uses a pseudonym on social media, and I wasn't sure whether I should be mentioning him or anything. It was nothing really more than that. So yeah, that was all. But so you can upset people in funny ways, but I hope he's all right and moves on. He said he wasn't going to watch these, but he might do, I guess. Right. So thanks for bringing that up. This is supposed to be cheery and uplifting.
I know, but I just think that sometimes you've got to make a point that, if someone hasn't taken on board your suggestion, it's not because they don't like the suggestion. It probably isn't appropriate at that minute in time. And so sometimes you just have to be bigger than the thing that you feel is important. Was all I was trying to make the point of. Let's get to the next happy thing.
Well, on that, I think I've mentioned Steve Peters and the Chimp Paradox before, which is a very valuable book on psychology. And I'm listening to an interview with Adam Jamili, the sprinter, with Don't Tell Me the Score podcast. And it's worth a listen because Adam goes into this aspect of psychology and how to react to things. And as I've said to you many times before, having read that book, The Chimp Paradox, when you're having a real good pop at me, carrying on, I will just say, Dawn, it's okay. I understand. It's not you.
No, you don't. You've got your chimp on your shoulder.
It's your chimp that's agitating you. That's all it is.
Yeah, but I will turn this round and flip it round, because sometimes I'm a person that likes to get something off my chest. So as soon as I've had, said what I think, it's forgotten. I don't hold a grudge, etc. I'm not going to sort of think, oh, that man's stupid, like being you, etc. He should know better. He's got, he's been educated at Judd. Why can't he think like I do? I don't think any of that. I just say what I'm thinking, and it's done and dusted. And at least sometimes you do take things that I say on board. So at the end of the day, everyone deals with stress and everything else in a different way. And just because someone's having a pop at you, which is your pet hate, doesn't mean to say that they don't care or anything like that. It's just the fact that sometimes they need to get something that's bothering them off of their chest.
Good. Well, you've now distracted me from my my plan. So
sorry.
I'm going to postpone what I was going to talk about, and we're going to dwell on this aspect now, because I think a lot of people might be interested, because when I get in a car with you, I'm generally quite a calm driver, and
on your own you are. On your own, you are a calm driver, and on my own, it's the combination of both of us being together. You're going the first thing you do is hold on to something as if I'm going to drive like a maniac, and then you say to me, "You're driving too fast." Then you get your phone out and you're on your phone, and if we go over a bump, you're going, "Oh," as if I intentionally go over the bump to disrupt what you're trying to read. And I just find it very frustrating. So I think you should stick with your car and I'll stick with mine. I'm quite happy to sort of come to this conclusion.
Well, since you changed your old car, very hard suspension, didn't it? Whereas I'm not sure about this newer one you've had. I haven't been in it many times with you.
Once, dear, once.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because it's not just me you get agitated with. Your mum, you will be, as soon as you get behind that wheel, it's, well, the language and the observations of other drivers kicks in, doesn't it?
Not necessarily, but yes. The thing is, they can't hear me. So if I think they're beep, 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 that's what I say. But that is because there are so many people out there just doing whatever they feel like. If you're coming out of a junction, stop before the junction. Don't stick your nose out so the person who's driving along has to stop. And then because you've got a car coming on, you haven't got anywhere to go. And I just find it very frustrating. It's other people, lack of consideration, I suppose it is. But I don't particularly want to discuss driving, etc. I enjoy driving. I don't enjoy driving with you.
No, it's just an example, really, because the brain's got the three parts. It's got the computer part of the brain storing all the information and coming up with things you do automatically, like driving. And then you've got the human part, which is probably how you would like to react to things. And then you've got the chimp, who's very emotional and kicking in really quickly. And so I wonder, have you got any techniques for controlling and managing your chimp?
Yeah, don't listen to you. You're annoying.
You just think of him, he's sitting on your shoulder now. You know,
it might be sitting on me now, but I try and look at it logically. I have tried a different approach in life. I try and see it much more from the other person's point of view, and but frustration falls over sometimes, and that's when you sort of like react differently to how you would like to react. But then certain people know how to press buttons, and you're not sure if they're just behaving like that because they can. And so it's not just about your chimp, it's about others as well, isn't it? So if someone comes to me full in the face and is aggressive, I just say to them, I'm sorry, but I'm not talking to you. I said, you go away and calm down, and then I'll talk to you. And that defuses a lot of the situation. So I've learned that over the years. That's the best way, because at the end of the day, their chimp is ramping, and sometimes maybe you should use that technique. But then you've got a temper as well, and your chimp surfaces. So you're not just a little angel sitting there and thinking, oh, you know, I'm Mr. Perfect. So viewers, please don't think this. He has got another side that we don't often see. But most of the time he's pleasant to people. Just observe occasionally how you
get agitated.
react.
I probably don't have a temper, but I do get agitated, of course, like everybody.
No, it's a temper, Mark. There is a temper under there.
I was going to talk about your experience as an official, which you've just touched on, but we'll do that another time. So I would like to, crikey, my voice went now. I would like to hear from viewers about a couple of things. One is their experience in sport and going through the age groups and the struggles they had, and who successfully overcame them, and what sort of attitude is right from parents in dealing with children at a young age in their sport. And secondly, whether you are able to manage your chimp and your personality when you get agitated. And I'd quite like to hear people's different techniques for that. I think we all might benefit, especially in these times. So that'd be interesting.
Kicking bags is a good one.
Who?
Kicking bags.
Kicking bags?
That's in my experience. People, like, if they're in a bad temper or they think they've been unfairly treated, they go around and kick a bag.
Right. Okay.
I've got lots of examples of that, but we'll talk about that later.
I've never seen you do that, I don't think.
No, not me.
Oh, okay.
Other people. You said give us experience, you know, your experience of what you do. So I said like kicking bags.
Okay.
So we're definitely not on the same level, are we?
No, we've gone completely off piece this morning, but it's not a bad thing. And it's flowed a little bit and got you going, and this is flowing, so that'd be good. Hopefully it's stimulated some of the viewers. So thank you very much for that, Dawn.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.